ASU suspends 8-month strike. Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja discharges Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. Welcome to News Panorama. I'm Naja'atu Tejani. Details next. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has announced suspension of its 8-month-old strike. A statement by the union president, Emmanuel Osodike, says the National Executive Council of the union held an emergency meeting and reviewed developments since the union declared an indefinite strike action on 29 August 2022. As a law-abiding union and in defense to appeals by the president and in recognition of the efforts of the Speaker of the House of Representatives and other well-meaning Nigerians, the ASU NEC resolved to suspend the strike action embarked upon on 1st February 2002 and consequently directed all members to withdraw services to resume with effect from midnight of Monday, 17 October 2022. That was February 2022, rather. Now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has discharged the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, from the remaining 7 counts against him. The 3-man panel of justices of the court, led by Justice Jummai Sanki, gave the order in a unanimous judgment in Abuja. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
On the 27th of June 2021, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, was rendered to Nigeria to stand his trial on alleged terrorism acts. In the case between the Federal Republic of Nigeria against Nnamdi Kanu, the prosecution preferred 15 counts against Nnamdi Kanu. In the preliminary objection by the defendant at the trial court, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja quashed 8 counts and sustained 7 counts for trial. The appellant counsel in the matter, Mike Ozokome, SAN, generated 5 issues for determination. In the appeal, the appellate court, in a unanimous judgment by the 3-man panel of justices led by Justice Jummai Sanki, determined issues 1 and 4 in favor of the appellant. The court equally resolved issues 2, 3, and 5 in favor of the respondent. However, issue 1, which has to do with the jurisdiction of the court based on the manner of the rendition of the appellant, headed the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Due to the manner in which the appellant was rendered from Kenya to Nigeria, denied the trial court of the jurisdiction. With the lack of jurisdiction, the appeal court struck out all the remaining 7 counts against Nnamdi Kanu.
Nigeria operates democracy, which gives vent to the rule of law and its concomitant adherence. Today, we saw the potency of the law.
The respondent counsel, David Kaswe, declined comment. The appeal court maintained that the rule of law must always be followed in the way or manner a defendant is brought before the court. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says it is aware of the decision of the Court of Appeal concerning the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. A statement released in Abuja by the office clears the air for the avoidance of doubt and explains that by the verdict of the court, Kanu was only discharged and not acquitted, but affirms that appropriate legal options before the authorities will be exploited and communicated to the public. The statement maintains that the decision handed down by the appellate court was on a single issue which borders on rendition and other issues which predate rendition, on the basis of which Kanu jumped bail and remain valid issues for judicial determination. In the light of this development, the federal government will consider all available options open to it on the judgment on rendition while pursuing the determination of the pre-rendition issues. And member states of the Gulf of Guinea Commission have been tasked to urgently galvanize action against the threats affecting maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea region. President Muhammadu Buhari threw the challenge at a virtual summit of the heads of state and government of the Gulf of Guinea. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Gulf of Guinea Commission has, amongst other objectives, creating conditions of mutual confidence towards defending the common interests of member states, as well as promoting peace and socio-economic development on the basis of dialogue, consensus, ties of friendship, solidarity, and fraternity. This summit was convened by President Muhammadu Buhari as outgoing chairman of the heads of state and government of the Gulf of Guinea member states to review progress made in their efforts to deal appropriately with maritime challenges in the region.
Nigeria considers the effective functioning of the Gulf of Guinea Commission as strategic to the collective security interests in the Gulf region, particularly in addressing issues such as piracy, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, protection of marine resources, as well as irregular migration to the region.
The federal government, the president said, has championed several efforts towards fighting maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea.
Nigeria has continued to deploy significant resources towards tackling piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Through the Deep Blue Project in June 2021, the government of Nigeria unveiled $195 million United States dollars worth of boats, vehicles, and aircraft to spearhead the country's fight against piracy in the Gulf of Guinea.
President Buhari, however, identified the COVID-19 pandemic and its attendant negative impact on the activities of the Gulf of Guinea Commission, as well as inadequate cash flow, as major challenges that confronted efforts at fighting maritime insecurity in 2020 and early 2021.
What we need now is to work more than ever towards the revitalization of the organization with a view to synergizing for more effective results towards fighting maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea Commission region.
The president told participants that the summit will be the last he will be attending as head of state, but made a case for member states to remit their outstanding annual contributions to the Gulf of Guinea Commission Secretariat to assist the Commission in fulfilling its mandate. President Nana Akufo-Addo of the Republic of Ghana emerged the new chairman, heads of state and government of the Gulf of Guinea region at the end of the summit. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Senate is asking the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, to always respect the principle of federal character in its recruitment process. This was when the Senate Committee on Primary Health Care visited the agency as part of its oversight. National Assembly correspondent Mobolaji Moribirin reports.
The visit is to take stock of major activities of the center. The Director General of the NCDC gave an overview of the agency's performance in the period under review, ranging from budget allocation, releases and expenditure profiles.
2022, the amount appropriated is as shown, 1.7565940.789 billion. And 100% of the amounts released has been expended.
Procurement of pharmaceutical medicines. This external assistance for supplies, do they have any relationship with this particular project title?
Partners are very reluctant to provide things like that because they think it's government's responsibility.
Your recruitment policy have shown flagrant abuse of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We already recognize this internally and have that in mind. So when the time comes, we should do better.
The oversight is in preparation for the 2023 budget defense as the National Assembly. In Abuja, Mobolaji, Moribiri, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives at a public hearing on basic education says amending the Universal Basic Education Act has become necessary, going by a lack of accountability by some states in the implementation of the policy. Correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The engagement with stakeholders from various agencies saddled with the responsibility of meeting the needs of basic education in Nigeria provided a platform to speak to the issues affecting the scheme in some states of the Federation.
UBEC has built fantastic structures in some states that have been abandoned. There's one in my state, 14 buildings, rats, rain, fire. It was handed over to the state governor over 5 years ago. There's one in Kogi also. So there has to be, we have tried to amend the UBEC law now on how to take back those facilities if they are not put into use within 6 months of handover.
The bill seeking establishment of a commission for secondary education is among those that got stakeholder input as the public hearing.
Tertiary education has a parent being TET fund, but senior secondary education has always been an orphan, which is why we think that this senior secondary education commission is long overdue.
Another area of attention which the committee is working at amending is the Act on Vocational Education.
We already, realize the importance of vocational training. In fact, even the National Policy on Education does not make it compulsory for every child moving from primary to go to junior secondary school. No.
The lawmakers stress that there has to be a turnaround of policy direction and targets at all levels for Nigeria to achieve aspirations. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
This is News Panorama on NTA. Stay tuned for more reports after this timeout.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Welcome to Panorama from Sokoto Network Center. The Director General of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto State, has debunked rumors making rounds that the organization has set aside its drive for votes kick-started last week. A statement from the media advisor to Governor Tambuwal, Muhammad Bello, said contrary to what is being circulated in social media and similar platforms, the campaign train is continuing on Monday in Kaduna. It added that the Director General of the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Council was amazed and taken aback when the social media and some other platforms reported that the council called off campaigns. The statement described the report as fake. Sokoto State Police Command has urged politicians not to support thuggery in the interest of rancor-free electioneering campaigns on 2023 elections. This came to fore at an engagement between the State Police Command and heads of media organizations in Sokoto State. Sheikh Muhammad Datti reports.
The engagement brought together heads of security agencies, electronics, and print media in Sokoto State. The aim is to discuss improvement in security before, during, and after elections. He said security operatives will work together with the National Broadcasting Commission to ensure sanity in what media houses broadcast. Hosseini maintained that similar interface was conducted with some selected social media influencers towards checking the spread of fake news.
Carrying weapon during electioneering campaign is an offense that is punishable under the law. And the police will not hesitate to arrest anybody found wielding weapon during campaign.
Media organizations said they have been working in accordance with the guidelines provided by MBC on political coverage and assured of working harmoniously with security operatives. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammadati, NTA News.
And now to our discussion segment, which is on youth candidacy in 2023 elections in Nigeria. And I have with me in the studio Dr. Mansur Isa Buhari from Usman Danfodio University. Sokoto, Doctor, you're welcome to Panorama this afternoon. After the signing of the Not Too Young to Run bill, which reduced the age requirement to promote youth inclusion in politics, there was massive increase in the interest of youths who ran for various positions across board in the 2019 general elections. Now elections are here again. So what is the situation?
Well, thank you. The situation of youth participation in politics in Nigeria generally is, we can say, particularly in elective offices, it's not encouraging because political parties have, in quote, connived to push young people out of participating directly in elective positions. If you observe a report recently released by Yaga Africa, in 2019 election, participation was above, I think, 34%. In 2023, it is 28%, 28 point something percent, which is some digits down. And this is worrisome to young people. And many factors are responsible for that. Of course, there could be problems with the youth themselves. Maybe they are not willing to participate because of some reasons, part of which could be lack of satisfaction with the way politics is conducted in Nigeria by political parties, particularly bigger political parties. Of course, there are smaller political parties that have given chances to young people, but in Nigerian politics, the terrain is dominated by some giants, and if you are not in that cycle, you cannot have any relevance. Of course, some other factors may include also lack of internal democracy among political parties. It's like the people with the big bags will always have their way, and young people, they're upcoming. They don't have the economic strength, the financial strength to, or the financial muscle to engage in this political ring. And of course, the parties themselves, the excessive amount paid to get even the nomination form is also another problem, because when you have young struggling man or woman trying to participate in politics and he has to get 100 million naira to purchase the nomination form, and he doesn't even have the guarantee that he will, for example, for the president and some other offices. So these are some of the things that have, I think, discouraged young people from participating actively in elective positions. But of course, young people participate in politics, but they are only used, and after elections they are dumped by politicians, and we wait until election period before they are invited to come and participate in politics again.
Okay, there is a decline in youth candidacy from the 2019 records, which was 34%, and now it's 28.6, especially at the state level than executive or national assembly seats. What could be responsible for this?
I mentioned some of the reasons. Dominance by bigger political parties. They just see youth, like I always say, they see young people as just what I call an almighty formula for balancing their political equations. And after politics, after elections, these young people are forgotten and they are only invited to come and participate. They are not given chances. Of course, some parties have tried in giving young people positions. I think the party with the highest number of youth participation is, if I get it right, the ADC, which is, we cannot classify as one of the biggest political parties we have in Nigeria. This is where I blame the young people also. Now, this is a political party that has come out, for example, I'm not trying to campaign for the party, but this is the party that has given young people more opportunity to participate in politics. And if young people can come together and see how they can now, for example, crowdfund a candidate or some candidates in the party to participate and win elections, I think it will be better. Then, of course, like I said, the lack of internal democracy in these parties. When young people come, you will see a young man of 35 years wanting to become a state assembly member, and he will be told he's too young to participate in politics, so he should give chance to older people. And young people don't rally around one another. That is also another problem. Young men and women, of course, we have to talk about women of themselves too. So this kind of political discrimination by bigger political parties sometimes is supported by young people and women who don't do anything to make sure that their voices are heard. We young people in Nigeria constitute highest percentage of voters in Nigeria. I think we can be above, given the Nigerian context of who is a youth, we can be above 60%.
Okay. Talking about female candidates, how will you access the representation of young female candidates and persons with disabilities?
In many political parties in Nigeria, in the bigger political parties, I think it is very poor. Women are not given the kind of chances they are supposed to give in elective positions. Sometimes you discover that the only time these people are recognized in when it comes to getting delegates to go and do primary elections, or when it is time to go and invite people during campaigns. But when it comes to the real issue of giving them positions in political elective offices, many times. Look at all the political parties. Sokoto State, for example. I don't see any party giving House of Assembly membership to any woman or person with disability, for example, in Sokoto State. And we have issues that affect women, and these people that are supposed to be given attention in our houses of assembly. Look at GBV, what do you call it? Gender-based violence bill, Severa. A man will stand in for women to make laws that will prevent them from, for example, women. So these are issues that we have to look at. And I think in the spirit of fairness, there has to be some law in Nigeria that will mandate parties. I don't know if that is that law. It is not respected by political parties, but I think there should be a particular percentage to women and people with disability, particularly, so that they will have representation, particularly in our houses of assembly and in our national assemblies.
Okay, Doctor, just briefly, what is the way forward?
The way forward is, for example, first, young people should change their mindset towards politics. They should not allow themselves to be used only as political thugs. After election, they find their way. Of course, political parties also have to know the importance of including young people and women and people with disability in elective positions. That is inclusion we are talking about. And of course, the economic aspect of politics has to be reviewed by the Constitution, because this is the way people are eliminated out of politics. When you peg a price that you know that majority of the people who are stakeholders cannot afford, of course you are indirectly removing people out of the political space. But if there is a law that regulates what should be done in terms of selling forms and other primaries, things to do with primary elections, I think it will reduce all the problems.
Okay, Doctor, we have to cut it here. We thank you so much for having time to be on Panorama this afternoon. Next is Sports Update with Lanre Belly.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, and host state representatives on Thursday officially unveiled the logo and mascot for the 13th Biennial Police Games Uyo 2022, scheduled for 23rd to 30th November.
The game provides a distinctive opportunity to identify sporting talents, most of whom often become stars in the global sporting stage.
No fewer than 6,000 police athletes will compete for medals in over 32 sporting events. After bowing to Germany 2-1 in their first Group B match of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup on the way in India, the Flamingos of Nigeria will have to slug it out with another member of the group. New Zealand ladies tomorrow, Friday. Sport enthusiasts have called on the girls to go all out for victory.
Playing against the champions of Europe, scoring first, and maintaining the lead through 45 minutes is not easy. Against New Zealand tomorrow, I see our girls winning, and winning with more goals.
Still on football, the Super Falcons of Nigeria moved up a step in the latest FIFA ranking. Super Falcons are now ranked 45th in the world as against 46th, and still number 1 in the continent of Africa. At the heels of the Super Falcons is the South African ladies Bayana, while Cameroon came third. In the world, USA is the top team, followed by Sweden. Germany is in third, while England is fourth. With sports update, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
Panorama this afternoon. Remember to connect with NTA Stand Against Rape and Rapists. Be a star. Have a great day.